G'day, it's Paul McWilliam here from Harcourts Williams and Team McWilliam, and it's my great pleasure to be joined by one of my childhood heroes, Mervyn Keane.
Hello, Paul.
How are you, mate?
I didn't know that.
You were. I used to love you, Merv. I'm a Mildura boy, so we grew up on Richmond.
I know.
Dale Waitman. I played cricket with the Waitman boys.
Yeah. What about the General?
The General was...
Any affiliation there?
I dated the General's cousin for a little while. So, yes, there's a bit of affiliation, but the General's a bit older than me.
That would be dangerous territory.
Well, he'd gone to Melbourne by that stage. I didn't have to worry about the General.
You were safe.
So, Merv, if you don't know who Merv is, Merv's a champion footballer in his own right. He's a three-time premiership player for the Richmond Tigers, AFL Life member. You're also a Team of the Century man for Richmond, aren't you?
Oh, mate, I've got awards all over the place.
I know,
but
anyway, gunplay. But the way I connected with Merv was I played at Sturt for 4 years, and Merv was my first coach here, and first of 4 coaches in 4 years, Merv. And I know a few of the boys had a few more coaches than that, but Merv and I had a great mate, Scott Field, who was a Sturt player and a really accomplished guy that we didn't really know a lot about his accomplishments until, unfortunately, after his death.
Exactly, yep. We learnt more after his death.
Absolutely, and at his funeral, Merv, I think we all left there thinking, we really didn't know Scotty.
No, we knew little bits and pieces. Everyone knew, a bit here and a bit there, and the people that knew him in the United States or in the Middle East knew him, but they didn't know anything about him in Australia.
No, they didn't know his history as a footballer, and he was a great player. He wasn't just making up the numbers. Scotty was a really best and fairest winner. He was an inaugural trained with the Crows squad, so he's a really good player, Scotty. But he went on to do amazing things around the world, and Merv has written a book. It's called Playing with the Field.
The story of Scott Field.
The story of Scotty Field, and we're here at the launch of that book tonight at the Sturt Football Club, and I'll put a link, I'll get from Merv later, I'll get a link for where we can find the book if you're interested in the book. But just tell us a little bit about what you've done, Merv.
Well, as you say, we've written a book of Scott Field, and again, as you said, we went to the funeral of Scott, who died aged 45. He fell off Mont Blanc. He was an adventurer, a mountain climber, and that eventually cost his life as a young man.
Yeah.
His body was repatriated back to Adelaide Hills, and we had the funeral service in Harndorf in 2014. It was at that point, at the funeral service, that we discovered what a fantastic life he had.
Yeah.
Brilliant eulogies expressed by his brother, David Field, and people from the United Nations where he worked, people from San Francisco where he lived, and his life in the Middle East. It's just extraordinary. So,
and he was on the world. He was a guy who was a real contributor on the world stage.
Absolutely, yeah, he was. And I think you know what, like he was a great little footballer. He tried out for the Crows, but the best thing he could have done in his life was move on from football and get on, as you say, Paul, get onto the world stage and become a real contributor. And the man, as we've expressed here tonight at the launch, what a humanitarian he was.
Yeah.
And apart from that, a scientist, but underlying all that was what a guy, what a great fella.
Well, I was flat out to get through high school, Merv, and just some of the things Scotty did, he was doing double degrees and PhDs
exactly.
Solving world problems.
Something that we couldn't comprehend.
No, just a couple of Victorian country boys.
Yeah. I can remember listening to him on video where he's lecturing the US military. He stood up in front of the US military for 15 minutes. I've watched that video time and time again. I just cannot make sense out of it. But I'm assuming the admirals in the army knew everything he was
talking about. They knew what was going on.
They knew what was going on. But this guy was at another level.
Great vision of Scotty hitting golf balls off the back of an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, well, like you pick it up on the audio. When he hits the golf ball into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that's what I'm talking about.
Brilliant. So thank you, Merv, for writing this book, and it's been a great night here, and it's been so good catching up with all our old teammates and the guys you
and
coached.
Yourself.
And
Can
Merv,
I say something about you?
Well, you can, and if it's good, I'll keep it in. If it's no good, I'll cut it.
Thank you for making the decision to come to the Sturt Football Club.
No, it's been great for me.
You've endured, and you've bonded with the club, and and the club's been good for you, and you've been good for the club, and that's been for 30 years. So, what a contribution you've made.
It was a big, and Mildura boys, I'm a Mildura boy, have got a good history, a proud history with the Sturt Football Club.
You have, yes.
I had a couple of options to go to other clubs, but I'm so happy that I made it here, and Chris McGowan, it's one little quick story.
Yeah.
We went to kindergarten together, me and Mousy,
I did not know that.
and we ended up through primary school, high
Wow.
school, and we ended up 2 boys from Victoria playing for
Sturt Footy Club. Yep.
And then we ended up with Darren Bauer, who's an ex-Richmond
Yeah, I
boy,
remember Darren. Yep.
played with us as well. So all 3 of us went to kindergarten together, and we had a great time here. But
And of course, I can remember, just to round it off, the Hogarth brothers.
Hogarth, Joffa
and
Martin,
Jeff Martin.
Tony
from
McCarthy.
Tony Macca, who's here tonight.
yeah, so we've really good. And later on there was Jade Sheedy and a few other people, Seamus.
Yeah.
People that have made big contributions to the football club, but not about us Mildura boys. So thank you, Merv. And
Good luck with the real
can people
estate, mate.
find? Where can people find the book?
Online, or they're on sale at Sturt Football Club.
Sturt Footy Club, yep.
Contact the football club.
Is there a
Sue,
website?
and my website, mervkane.com.au.
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Pretty easy to remember. Yeah.
Someone else hadn't bought the name, so you got it.
Well, originally I had mervkane.com, and then they stole that off me, so I had to
Put the AU on the end.
mervkane.com.au. That'd be good.
Thank you, Merv. Thank you very much.
Well done, Paul.
Talk to you later.